So now we have made two pieces. They're absolutely the same. I have already hidden all the free ends, but I haven't sewn them yet. I'll show you later how to sew the ends when we have already finished the bag completely. So we're going to sew this together. First of all, we need to put two pieces, one next to the other, with this side where we have started. That is our cast on row. How to find it? You see that on the edge here you have such crisscross loops, kinda, yeah, and the side where you have finished, the upper one, it has a braid. So now we need to turn these pieces so that they are facing with right side down. We are looking at the wrong side, and we are going to sew it this way, on the wrong side. So I'll take a smaller crochet hook, 3.5 millimeters. You can use 4 millimeters, 3.5 millimeters. It's as it is easier for you. It also depends how tight your piece was. And so we need to sew it with the same cord. I have melted the end so that it won't fray. Yeah, I will put this one next to the other and show you how to sew it together. So we are going to sew it together with these half loops which we have on both pieces. We grab one on one side and one on the other side. We have the same number, so it's really easy. It doesn't matter actually where you insert the hook, but I recommend you to make it neat. Do not skip the stitches and sew them matching, one next to the other. So you have to make sure that the edges are matching. And so we take our working thread, and first we insert it into one side, in the corner, right into the corner where you can insert a hook here of one of the sides. This is the wrong side, yeah, we are looking at the wrong side now. Then insert it into the corner of the other side, also right into the corner. It doesn't matter where, you try to insert it closer to the corner itself. And you need to grab the working thread, yeah, like this, and make a loop. And now you have a loop that comes from both sides, and you leave a longer end because here we are going to make one more stitch here. So this we will join with an additional loop with that free end. So now the first stitch is ready, and then insert the hook into one and into the other, and pull the loop like this longer loop, and then make a stitch with a slip stitch, yeah, like you pull the loop through the one on the hook. That is a slip stitch, when you pull a loop through. And then again we insert into one, into the other, and so, and that's it. That's our seam. We are making slip stitches through the half loops on one side and on the other side. And so we join it tight so that the seam is a strong one. It has to be strong because it is such place which is going to have the weight of the bag on it, anything you put in. So we go on working, making slip stitches. And we go on working like this along this line. It's really simple. And on the other side you get such a neat straight line. Yes, I made something wrong. Yeah, like this. You will get such a neat seam here. And then we'll hide the free ends, so don't worry about it now. And so, like this. We go on sewing. Go on working till the end of the row. I think you have understood the way that we sew it, and then we will finish and start making the trimming. And when we have almost reached the end, make one more slip stitch. Here you just have to see visually where it is easier to insert the hook and make a stitch. You have to join it right, like this. So we have joined the bottom. Here we can cut the end, leave a small, cut the thread, leave a small free end. And now we will make one more additional stitch just to make this side slightly neater. So we insert the end that we have into the left part, like this. Then we pull it, like this, to the right. Again to the wrong side. Like this, we have made an additional half loop, which will just make this edge slightly more even. And this free end, likewise, we first pull it through one side and then through the other. First to the wrong side, like this, then to the right side, and again to the wrong side. And so we will get also such a nice loop. It will be covered, of course, but nevertheless it looks neater and it is fixed stronger. So the free ends we hide for the time being, then we will sew them to the base before we add the canvas. Likewise on this side. Hide this so that it's easy for sewing. So, like this. Okay, we have this base piece, which we have sewn from two pieces. Again, you see, this is our seam. After we have sewn two pieces, it looks quite nice. It won't be visible as it is going to be the bottom, right? So I think looks quite okay. So now we are going to make the trimming for this piece. We'll make it all over the perimeter. I'll show you all the stages, everything, step by step, of course. And after we have made the trimming, then we will sew the free ends, make a wet heat. And then we will add the canvas and sew all the pieces together. Now this will be later. So the trimming, we start along the contour. You can use a smaller crochet hook or you can use the same one. I think I will take an ordinary one that I have used for this bag and take a new strand. Trimming is going to be made the following way. I will start here, but not right onto the corner, because it will be difficult to fix this thread there. I will, right, the corner is here, so I will start here, slightly to the left from the corner. So we need to make the stitches into the first opening where you can insert the hook after these side rows, after these chains on the side. So here it doesn't matter actually where you insert the hook, it's just important that you do not skip the stitches, you find the opening, which is easy, which is handy. So these openings will be between the rows, of course, and also as we have a lawn, this lawn stitches, we will make a stitch in the middle of that lawn stitch. Here we also have an opening. So like this, you can first have a look where you have these openings. They go all along this edge. So we insert the hook. You can start anywhere actually, it doesn't matter. Let's start here on the side. And then we work right to left. Here we have the beginning, so I will make a loop, pull it through the first one here, and make a stitch. So here, if your piece is too narrow and you would like it to be a little bit wider, maybe several millimeters, then due to the length of these stitches, you can make it slightly bigger. It's just if you need to make it 2 millimeters bigger, you can just make bigger stitches. And vice versa, if your base is wide enough, you don't want it to be bigger, or maybe you even want it to be slightly smaller, you tighten the stitches. I'll have to tighten the stitches, don't make them loose, because I don't need to make it bigger. So now I move to the next one, pull the loop, and now make a single crochet. So likewise, I insert it into the next one, grab the working thread, and the next one. So here it is just single crochets, nothing complicated, just an ordinary single crochets. It will make the piece much more neat, straight, and it will make it easier to sew the pieces together. So like this, we go on moving, till this corner. Here in the middle, I will show you, because here we have a little gap. We have to compensate it. It's also really easy, and we will do this. So go on working till the middle. Just make a single crochet in each opening which you can find. Now I have reached almost the middle of this place where we have sewn 2 pieces together. Here I also make a stitch where we have joined 2 pieces together. I will insert the hook on both sides of it, on this side, and just pull the loop slightly longer to compensate. And here likewise. And then so on. You see, this place where we have joined it is almost invisible on this side. And then we go on working according to the chart. We'll meet here. So I have almost reached the end of this side. Let's make it here together. So the next one, the last one before the edge, you have to make it right into the first one where we have made the first stitch. Make a single crochet. You can make even several stitches here to make it stronger, to make a nice transition. So now we go on working. Here we are going to work into the back half loop. As here we have two half loops, we will use only one, only the back half loop. And we grab working thread and at once pull it through the loop on the hook. So like this, with slip stitches we make the trimming for the upper edge. And again repeat the same. And like this we go on to the next corner, making slip stitches and making the trimming on this side. And so we get such a nice braid. Here is the corner. We also work it on this side, then into the corner, make a single crochet, turn our work, maybe one more single crochet here to make a nice corner. And if you have a hole like I do here, you can grab some more half loop, just any, here for example, to make a stitch so that you can cover this hole with it. It was not exactly right. Let me see. Let's give it a try here so that it won't change the shape. Yeah, this way it's better. This way it's better. I made it into this long one. So and now we go on working along this side and make a trimming like we did on the other side, opposite it. Here we're going to make single crochets into the openings. By the way, the cord I keep on untwisting so that the stitches are nice, not twisted. And so like this, we go on working like this till the next corner, then this side as the one opposite. Yes, so the ones opposite are working the same way. And we'll meet here and finish together. So I have made the trimming all along the perimeter. And now we have only this corner left. We have started it here, and so we return to the place where we have started. So we finish this trimming. Then we make trimming into the corner. As I did it on the other side, I grab some long stitch here to make a nice corner. Yeah, like I make 2 stitches on the corner. And here we can make one more stitch, for example. Let's have a look. We need to make a transition somehow. Or we could... No, I think that it's better to do it otherwise. Here we already have a stitch, so we don't want to make one on top of it. Okay. So I'll leave alone free end. Let's leave alone one so that I can change something if I don't like the way I decided to do. So such gaps we usually cover with a false slip stitch, yeah, with a chain, false chain or a false slip stitch. So here we need to find the first horizontal stitch on this row and inserting the hook from the wrong side to the right side. We grab this free end and then return it back. So we will have to return it right where this strand came from, you see, right here. To do this, we need to insert the hook from the wrong side into this braid from the inside. Grab the working thread and make such a full slip stitch, which is the same as all the other stitches. It looks quite nice. It is invisible. This loop we have to fix. Then we will sew the free ends, but before we sew the free ends, we need to make sure that everything is exactly as we want it. So now let's have a look. This one, the long one, also I'll hide it here, like this. Okay, so we're not sewing it, we'll just hide it for the time being. So the base is ready. Base for the back is ready. Let's measure its size. Measure it, its width, yeah, 37 centimeters. Its length, yeah, rather length. I would say that 37, 38 would also be okay. Maybe 36 and a half, 37 and a half will also be okay. So we will put it next to the side. Yeah, and now let's measure the width. The width here is 21.5 centimeters together with the trimming. As you remember, I was tightening the trimming stitches, but you can make it wider if you make them loose. Also, there will be the sides, and several millimeters will go for the sides as well. I'm going to sew them like this, so it will be approximately 5 to 7 millimeters. The width of the flap is 22 centimeters, so you need to make it approximately 22 centimeters. I have 21 and a half plus the trimming. 5 millimeters will go for the sides. Yes, several millimeters, more or less, that will be okay. We will be able to adjust it, but not more. So if everything is okay and you are sure that this size of the base is okay for you, then you can sew the free ends to the base. If you are not sure, do not sew the free ends, sew it to the sides, and then you will see whether it will be okay all together with a flap. You will be able to sew the ends later, or you'll be able to glue them or to melt them with a lightener slightly and press it to the base. There are several ways to do this. So, because when you have sewn it, then it will be difficult to change something if you are not sure that the size is right. So now we will sew the ends. On one of the sides I will show you how to sew the ends. Here we will hide them really neatly under the threads here and carefully sew it to the base, absolutely all the free ends. So if you are absolutely sure that your size is okay, you can go and sew the ends right now. And then we will proceed to assembling it all. So let's start with the free ends. On these free ends I have already hidden it behind this. Here I haven't hidden it, so I'll show you. I insert the hook under some of the stitches. Here I have 3.5. Carefully under the stitches pull these free ends like this. You can sew the ends really simply. You need some thread in a matching color or not very matching, as for example I do not have the right color of the thread for the skirt, but I'll show you how to sew it so that it is absolutely invisible, so it doesn't matter what color your thread is. So we will pierce it inside like this. Like this, and we pierce it together, the ends and the base all together. So pierce it slightly deeper, do not make the knots. I'll just make several stitches back and forth. Then I return it into the same place, into the place of the puncture. So I do not make a stitch on this side, so it's invisible, but I pierce it out like this. Repeat the same. Repeat everything the same several times. So you have to be sure that you have sewn both ends and the base, yeah? So make sure that you pierce it all together. And I do not cut the ends, yeah? I first sew it back and forth so that I fix it together, sew it together through. Now I can cut these ends that I don't need, the cord, right close to the base, and then it is very important to make several more stitches right here, right into the place of puncture, like this, and pierce it here. Pay attention that you don't sew these braids, you see, these ones, these long ones. On the side. Yeah, like this you sew the ends on all the sides. And then, according to the same principle, you sew all the rest. You hide it and then you sew it, making stitches back and forth. So sew the free ends. Then we will make a wet heat for our bag and start adding the canvas and sewing it all together. Now all the free ends are sewn. As you see, it is absolutely invisible. This is the right side. So, and now before we start assembling all the pieces, we need to make a wet heat for the bag. For this, I'll show you. I put some towel onto the table. So now we put it with the right side facing us and some thin cloth on top. It is the cotton, 100% cotton, of course, not synthetic. I put it into steam generating regime, and so like this I press the steam button. This will allow us to make the thread all nice, straight. If the thread was twisted, now it will get its original shape. If you have some uneven places, you can now stretch it with your fingers and make everything fine. You see, you can adjust with your fingers and then leave it to dry like this. And then we will already start sewing it to the sides. Now we have made the wet heat, we have left it to dry, and now the pattern looks even better. So now we can start assembling the pieces together. If you are going to add canvas to make the bottom stronger, then you need to place it in the center so that this seam was right in the middle. The length of this piece is 20 centimeters and the width is 6.5 centimeters. Actually, this is approximate because you have your own number, so you have to measure your piece and pay attention that this piece of a plastic canvas should be slightly smaller than this piece and slightly smaller than the side, you see, like this, so that it will not be here. When you sew the side, you don't want this to stand in your way and to change the shape of the back, so it has to be slightly smaller, approximately 1 centimeter on this side and on that side. And here actually it is smaller, but I think I will make it one square less. So you need to find the place in the middle. I will mark the place where I sew it to make sure that it will fit into the side. I will put some markers, and then when I'm sure that it will fit, I will sew it to the base. So let's take some markers, and now I recommend you to do the same. It will make the process of your sewing much easier, and it will look better, of course, as well. As the length of the piece will be different, you may have 36, 37, even if you have 38 and you don't want to crochet it again, you're going to leave it so, you'll just have to adjust the length of your piece slightly higher than this, and then just sew it to the side like this, if you have a slightly bigger piece. So, and if you have the right size, then you put it right next to this trimming. So here you have to follow your dimensions. My piece is slightly bigger than the one I made for the red bag, so I will have to put it slightly higher here on the side. And so I'll put the marker here. I put it just a little bit higher so that visually it still looks okay. And so in this place I will put a marker like this, then I will follow the line down, matching the stitches, and then I will join this corner next to, you make sure that it is straight. Here you do not have to match the stitches, so just visually more or less. Put it one next to the other so that it is straight, no waves are made this way. And then here you find the stitch which will be matching this one diagonal corner stitch, and we fix it together. This stitch on the side I will sew twice, so for this on the base I will add the second marker and into the next stitch on the base, so that I don't forget that for the corner I make 2 stitches on the base, like this. Then it is very important that this middle of the bottom goes right in the middle of this piece, so that this and these pieces are the same. You can even count the stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then like in the middle, and after the middle it is also 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'll mark the middle as well, and the next one also. It means that here 2 stitches which are in the middle, just for our convenience. And here as well we count 4 stitches from the next one, 1, 2, 3, 4. But I will add it not into the 4th but into the 5th, because it is going to be the one that will be next to the first one here on the corner. On the base like this, and if you remember, we make 2 stitches, so I will mark the second one as well, like this. And then we join the upper stitches and make sure that everything matches and it fits well. You see, it's almost perfectly, fits almost perfectly here. I have a little bit here and a little bit there. And so, as you saw, of course, you will adjust if you need. You will see when you start sewing. So our main aim now is to mark it approximately how it is going to be. Even if you'll have to shift something, then it will not be much. Yeah, so we will have to control how we are sewing so that we do not shift anything. As it is squared, it is quite stretchable. So like this. Now, mark with some markers where these pieces are going to be. You have to mark these sides. Mark the bottom, of course, on the other side. Likewise, you follow the line. I will start with marking 2 markers, putting 2 markers in the middle. Then I will count 4 stitches. Now I will follow the line so that it is exactly like you look where it is here, you follow this line and you add a marker exactly where it is on the other side here. Into the corner we make 2 stitches, so I will add 2 markers. Here also follow the line, insert 1 marker and this second one before it, yeah, follow it on the other side, likewise, check. So again, as you saw, if you need to adjust something, you can adjust it on both sides. The most important is that pattern lies straight and it is the same on both sides. So now, as to the plastic canvas, now we have the markers. We leave the markers, but we just take the side off. I'll leave the markers here. Better insert it into this, onto the base. Yeah, leave the markers onto the base, but take the side away. So we know that these are the corners, and here we make 2 stitches. Here. Like this. So don't lose the markers, they'll come in handy. Now we take our plastic canvas. You need to adjust it to your size of this base piece. So you have to check whether it is the right width. So you put it in the middle and make sure that it is narrower than the markers are. You see where the corner is going to be? So it is like this. Yeah, you see it's not wider than this marker, which marks the corner of this side. It's between the markers. Then it is okay. So here I have 6.5 centimeters. I'll leave it like this, and I'm going to make it length is 20 centimeters. I think I would cut one section maybe just to make sure I will just cut it like this, just a bit. And then I file it so that the corners of the plastic are not sharp. You don't have to do this, but if you have a file, you can do this to make them not so sharp. Our pattern is quite thick, so it won't pierce it, but nevertheless. And you place it into the center like this. And then sew it in place. I'm going to sew it here along the perimeter or just in several places. It will stay put, and here in the middle several stitches, and on the side. It's how you like. I'm going to use a darning needle. I'll show you how to sew it, or just even an ordinary needle with a thread. So pierce it like this through the opening and through the base. So I fix it several times even without making a knot. I make several stitches and it will stay put. Like this, make sure that you put it right, that it hasn't shifted, and so like this we make stitches here and there. Now make several stitches on this corner and on the rest, then several stitches in the middle. So I have already sewn it here and here, in the middle, at the corners, and here in several places, and here. And so it will stay put anyway, if you check it and it fits in place. So like this you can add this plastic canvas if you like, or if you don't want to buy the plastic canvas, you can crochet cycle rectangular with single crochets and just put it here like an additional bottom, or you can even go without it. It's also okay. So now let's start assembling everything together and sewing the sides to the base. We will need a piece of cord about 1.5 meters, a darning needle, I'm going to use metal one, you can use plastic or metal, it doesn't matter. I usually melt or sew these free ends of the cord so that they won't fray. If you melt it now, maybe it will be difficult to pull it through the stitches. So I recommend you to sew it. So to sew it, you need to just make several seams, so you don't have to make it careful, just make several stitches here to stop it from fraying, and that's all. And then the other one can be just burned like this. You're not going to pull it through the stitches, so it will just lie there. And we take one side and put it here. Let me see which side it will be easier to start with. Well, actually it doesn't matter where you start. You can make it this way and that way, like this. So I will put it with base foot towards me. So make sure that this corner on the side, it was exactly matching these two markers. And also here, the end is matching the side. And so I will grab this last stitch. It, as I have already said, will be about 5 millimeters above the opening of the side, so I have to put it slightly higher. So I enter it not into the upper one, but slightly higher. If you have a shorter piece, vice versa, then you will insert it into the one above. But as I have a slightly longer piece than I need, then I insert the needle here, slightly lower, so you can adjust it. And here, pay attention, I insert the needle into the first braid. You need to pull it right from here. It is the last one, here it is. Just pierce it through and find a place where you can pull it here, this way. And so I join it. It's difficult to make the first stitches, but then it's going to be easier. And we return it back into the first stitch where we have started. Here as well, I recommend you to untwist the cord so that it will not be twisted in stitches. And so again, we return here. So we make double stitches in the first one to fix it better with such a double stitch, and then we just go on making simple single stitches. So now we go one stitch down. Here, one level below, and again we pierce this half loop and insert it inside this braid, like this. On the side, yeah, it's better to show you this way. Here we insert it into the next and also grab one half loop here. So you need to sew this side to the base with the half loops, each next to the other. The number of stitches here and here may be the same, may be slightly different. So now it doesn't matter actually which stitch you choose. You have to choose visually the one that will be next to it on the other side. Let's count 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. On this side I have 16 stitches till the this one, diagonal one, on the corner. And now let's count the stitches here. Also skip 2, which we have already sewn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 13, yeah. So here I have 2 stitches less. That's why on the side we will have to skip 2 stitches, yeah, so that we have these pieces matching. We'll skip one here above, one below, so that it won't influence the work, won't influence the seam. Again, you have to see visually whether the stitches are one opposite the other, or whether it will be a good idea to skip. So the first one we will sew together, and then you can see for yourself and sew the other one. And so I return the needle here into the next one. So I'm not skipping anything so far. Tighten it. Then insert the needle into the next one. So make sure it is opposite the one here. Like grab the half loop and the back half loop. But it is difficult sometimes to do it. So you grab this upper half loop and then one more, you see, under it. And so again we go into the next one on that side. One stitch into the next one on that side. So now I have made a zoom in so that you can see it, and so we continue sewing one half loop on this side. I haven't skipped anything yet. I will have a look and see whether the stitches will be matching. When I see that the stitches do not match anymore, then I'll see that we will have to skip, because perhaps one of the stitches is smaller than the others, and then it means that I'll show you. Yeah, I'll show you what I mean. So now sew one by one. Just untwist the cord. Here as well, everything is okay. And we go on. Now, here, as I do not see, or perhaps I think that these two stitches are close to each other, so I will have to skip the next one. Yeah, you see, because perhaps it is smaller than the rest, so it doesn't correspond the stitch on the other side. I will stitch these two together. Let's have a look. If I skip one and then, yeah, be careful. Do not pierce the polyphia cord, because it's easy to pierce it and thus to damage it. So you see, we have skipped, but it's almost invisible that we have skipped it. And so we go on working one by one. We'll skip one more somewhere further, we'll see. Again, I see that this stitch is not matching the stitch on the other side, so I'll skip it again and go on like this. And exactly then the corner will be here, where this is like this one. Let me see. This one will be next to this one next to this one, and this one will be at the corner. Right? Right? Yeah, that's right. We will see. Here I have 3, and here I have 1, 2, actually, yeah, 1, 2. So here I have 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and then this one will be the corner. Yeah, that's right. Everything is matching. Everything is matching. Then we can continue. Now we will make a transition to the bottom, which is slightly more difficult. It's always so. And we grab these, one before the last. Here we take the one at the corner and the first one where the marker was, and then we will take the corner one at the side and the next where the marker is, the second marker is. And so we return here to the corner one, and here we take the next one, like this. And so now, and now, we sew likewise, but sew it along the bottom. I will put this fabric so that I do not bang it on the table. Like this, it's easier. And so we go on. And pierce it here. Let's have a look. Here we have, now let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's right. So everything is matching here. Everything is okay. We can go on working. Take the marker off. I'll turn it this way. It's easier to sew in this direction. Now on the side here, and here from the inside. You see, I grab the upper half loop and one of the back half loops to make the stitching stronger. It's not necessary, but it's a good idea to do this because it makes your seam much stronger and it will allow the back to keep the shape better. So we go till the corner, and here at the corner we make a stitch here. If you do not see where the corner is, you can also mark it with a marker on the side so that you don't forget which one you have to make the stitch into. So I make it here. And actually, yeah, the corner one, here it is. And here is the first marker, which I took off. Like, make a stitch here. Adjust the cord so it lies flat. Now the next marker, I take it off. But here I insert the needle into the same corner one on the side and into the next one where the second marker was. So now we have fixed it and we can go on working till the upper point here. So now our task is simply to sew it upwards, here base and the side, so that here, and we have the same distance here and here. If you had to make it slightly higher as I did, for example here, yeah, then they have to be the same. So you have to pay attention that on both sides you have the same distance. So you need to make it here. I'll have to make it here. Like this. And like this. Then it will look nice. And so let's count the number of stitches. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 1, 12, 15, 16, 15. No, 15. So again, you see, more or less, we'll have to correct the number just a little bit. And so go on working. Somewhere we will adjust it, maybe skip one. At this stage, you are already seeing how the bottom is going to be, how it is matching. So the most important is that you haven't tightened it too much, you have no waves, everything lies flat and matching side and the flap. It's always worse to over tighten it than to make it too loose. But again, it depends. So do not tighten the stitches. And so you go on stitching like this. go on working. I already see that I like how it is coming out. This way. Yeah. You see if the canvas, the base has shifted, you understand whether you need to tighten it a little bit or vice versa, make it looser. So you have to adjust it, yeah, because you are the person who sees it and sees whether you need to tighten it or vice versa, make a slightly looser stitch somewhere. So, and then everything will be fine. And here also I see that these stitches are going to be 2 for 1. So here I'll have a look. Yeah, you see, we have one back half loop, but 2 upper half loops. It's okay, I'll use it 2 times with 2 upper half loops. Here or even here, like this. Yeah, you have to just make sure that it will look visually okay. And again, one more stitch to make sure, yeah. And here insert it a little bit deeper. And so that's what we have. Here we have a small edge and here we have a small edge. The most important thing is that they are the same. And so this side is sewn. Here we can cut the end and then singe it a little bit. We will hide it later, so I'll singe it, burn it slightly. And now we will start sewing the second part, and then you'll continue on your own. And then we'll see the result. So now we'll take the second one and sew it likewise on the other side. So here I'll leave such an edge, yeah, the same one as on the other side. It's important to make it the same, like here. Yeah, I'll start here. I'll leave the free end, maybe later you'll have to change something. So here I'll find this braid. Here, pierce it like this and return here. Yeah, let's have a look. And again into it, yeah, we fix the first stitch with 2 stitches so that we make a stronger stitch. Then we go into the one lower than this one, and so on and so on, making stitches into each next pair. Again, let's check the number of stitches. Here we have on the side we have here, I don't count the diagonal one, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13. Yeah, here you see we have a difference. So I have to tighten it on one side where I have more stitches, because we have a difference in 3 stitches. That's a lot, so I'll have to skip some. Like this one, for example. Skip one and into the next one, so that we can spread the stitches nice. And of course, when we are sewing the corner, we will match it, make sure that it is matching this side, the opposite side. So go on working like this, then we'll meet at the corner, so that you make the corner right, and then you can continue sewing it. So now I'm at the corner. I take the first marker off. I wanna just show you everything. Here is the corner stitch, so I turn it. I will turn it, go into the second one, right? It's difficult to grab this back half loop. I'll try to do this now. And I return back into the corner stitch, and then go, I will turn it. I'll just turn it because it's difficult to get there. So like this. And then I look for the half loop here. Several more stitches, and we will have a look and make sure that everything is matching. We have the right number of stitches. Now let's have a look whether the transition is nice and whether it is the same on both sides, because it has to be the same, symmetrical. Yeah, so have a look whether all this stuff is at the same level. Yeah, maybe just a millimeter here or there, it's okay. But in general, make sure that it is at the same level. So here I get it. I think here this line goes quite straight on both sides, almost the same. Yeah, if it is millimeters more or less, it is okay. If it is not visible, then it is okay. So put it onto something horizontal and have a look whether it looks okay. Whether this doesn't go somewhere askew, then you have to change and sew it so that it is straight. If it's not visible by the eye, then it is okay. And now we can go on working till the end of this side. So, and when we have sewn sides to the base of the bag, look how nice it looks. Everything is very neat. The free ends I will sew later, haven't sewn them yet. I suggest you first to sew the flap, and then when you'll be sure that everything is okay, then the flap has to be so that this handle is in the middle, yeah, so you have to adjust it. And actually I prefer to shift it a little bit to the front, but just a little bit, because otherwise it won't look nice. So I prefer the flap to be in the middle, right in the middle. So wanna shift the handle slightly to front. So you need to center the flap. At what level you are going to sew it? We are going to sew it with a crocheting hook. Join it with a crocheting hook. You need the crocheting hook that will get into the holes. And like, for example, I center it so that I see that I pierce some other hook through it so that I see where I want my flap to be here. And then I'll take the next hook and follow this line. I'll keep this, it will just show me where the flap has to be, along what line I have to sew it. It just makes it easier for you to make sure that nothing has shifted, that everything is okay. So now I'll center it and then we'll start sewing. Now I have marked the place where I want to sew the flap, at what level I want to sew the flap. So I take 3.5 millimeters crocheting hook and take my working thread. So as you see, here I have the flap that lies straight, covers the sides. Yeah, that's important that it covers the side. It's neither too big nor too small. And so we put the flap straight this way, and we're going to sew it starting with the first opening on the flap, and then to the side we need to insert the hook here into the trimming. Yeah, we grab our working thread. Slightly difficult, but these are just the first stitches. The stitch should be as long as the distance between two openings. Then we insert the hook into the next one. Yeah, and make a slip stitch here into the next opening. Just follow the same line and make sure that you sew it straight. So grab the working thread and make a stitch. And again here. Pull a loop, insert it into the next one, and here also into the next one. Here tighten everything nice so that the flap is fixed properly. Grab the working thread, 1, 2, and sew it here. And then here we have to sew this last one into the trimming. Yeah, the last opening on the flap goes into the trimming again. That is important. This one we will tighten slightly. This one as well. So we go on working till the end, and then we will make, so try to tighten the stitches and make them all the same size. So I have almost finished sewing the flap, and so we make stitches so that this edge of the flap is at the same level as the side, so that the flap hasn't shifted or changed its position. So you have to pay attention to this. we make the last stitch here closer to the edge so that we have fixed it exactly at the edge. It's slightly difficult to do here. Do not cut the thread yet. Make sure that everything is okay. So you see it follows a straight line here and here. It is okay. And the side is matching also. And everything fits more or less perfectly. If you are sure that everything is okay, you can cut the thread and now we will just pull this thread inside like this. You pierce it through in the opening and carefully pull it to the inside. Now all the ends here, all the free ends, you can sew and cut, or first you can sew the back lock. It's as you like. So I'm going, yeah, we almost have already a bag. I decided to wait to sew the back lock and then to sew the free ends. So you put the flap right into the position how it's going to be, center it so that it's right in the center, check it on all the sides that it fits, that it lies okay, and then when you have placed it this way as you want it to be, now you can open it, hold this place. You will need some sewing pins so that you can fix the place where this lower part of the back lock was when it was closed. So this way you have fixed it. You can give it a try again. Make sure just so that you have not shifted anything and it's still in place. Like this. And then you just sew it here. As you see, we have these openings. And so we can use this. I have chosen the thread in the matching color to the cord, and I'm going to make tiny stitches. I think it will look nice on blue background. So you can fix it with a knot or without a knot as I do it. First fix it into the knitted base. You can even make a knot if you like, it's going to be covered with a lining anyway. So make several stitches before you take the pins away. So first you need to fix it in place. Make sure you haven't shifted it, right? You can start anywhere, any opening to start. So, and then I make double stitches. So in each two opening, I make two stitches into the same place. Because I have an ordinary thread, so to make it stronger, make sure it will be sewn. I will, and again, make sure that you do not shift it, because when we sew it in place, we sometimes can shift it So make sure that the pins are still in place, they do not come out. And so we go on sewing like this along the perimeter, along all the openings here. Actually, I think you see, we just make stitches, repeating 2 stitches into each openings. So sew it around, and then we'll have only to make the lining. So sew it. So I have almost sewn it, 1 stitch left. And let's have a look what we get. We'll already see almost the finished look. Yeah, so fix the end with a knot or any way you like. By the way, it's a really easy way to make several stitches back and forth and back and forth, and then you don't even have to make the knot. You just make several stitches back and forth through the knitted base. That's actually it. Have a look at our finished design. It's still empty, so it may be sagging a little bit, but when you put something into it, of course, it will have a slightly different shape. Yeah. So let's add the shoulder strap. I already want to see the finished look, how it's going to look with a strap. Then we will add the lining, of course. So that's the look, and it is almost ready now. It's just that we have to add a lining. So sew the free ends, and then the last stage will be sewing the lining into the back. Here it is a special way of sewing the lining, so I'll show you everything step by step with my way of sewing the lining in such bags. So the ends are already sewn into the back, and we can start sewing the lining. As this bag has wooden sides, it's impossible to sew it, of course, yeah, so we can't sew the lining on the sides. So we have to make a small stripes of knitted pieces, which we will sew here on both sides, and only after this we'll be able to sew the lining into the back. So these stripes should be slightly more than the width of this wooden side. For example, I have wooden side 8 centimeters, so I can make it 9 centimeters and maybe stretch it a little bit so that I have enough space to sew on one side and to sew it on the other side. So like this, we need to make 2 stripes. We will now crochet them. I'll show you how to make one, and then you will do the second one likewise. Now the stripes for the sides are going to be worked in single crochets. If you are a beginner, then I'll show you step by step. So we start our work as always with a 0 stitch. I make the first one as I did before. So grab the working thread here, and so you have the first one here. Maybe you will have to make several one, try them on and see which size will be better. Yeah, so I suppose it will be 9 centimeters, will be okay. So I cast on 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I will measure it because it's going to be stretched a little bit, of course, it will be bigger. So now it makes, well, 6.5, perhaps that's not enough. Okay, I'll make one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So, and plus one lifting chain. Yeah. So you may have your own number because your gauge might be different. So you need to get 9 centimeters. Here it's a really small work, so you can repeat it and do it. And so now we work with single crochet. So we skip the first one, which is here on the hook. We insert it into the next one. I'm going to use 4 millimeters crocheting hook, wrap the working thread and 2 together. Yeah, it's a single crochet. Again, insert the hook, pull the loop and make a stitch. And so like this we work till the end of the chain. So we work single crochets till the end of this row. Yeah, in each next stitch into the upper half loop we make a single crochet. And that's it. That's all you need to do. And again. Here you just make ordinary single crochets, it doesn't matter. Yeah, we just need something to sew the lining to, so it doesn't matter how your stitches look like in this case. So now we have made the first row. You see it's already wider. We make a lifting chain, turn our work, and here we are going to work under both half loops. Like this, you see? We will stretch it and sew it here. Just make sure you have enough space to sew it here and then here. The level at which we sew, I prefer to sew it so that I can close this nail at the same time. So hide this free end on one side and on the other side. And then we will singe it and glue it. Cut. And glue it to the wrong side, of course. So it's going to be on the wrong side. Anyway, this thing is going to be covered with the lining. So then we sew it with a needle and some thread in matching color. First, fix it into the knitted base. Here you can pierce it through completely. Just return right into the place of puncture on the right side and pierce it slightly further on the wrong side. So you do this so that you do not see the stitches. You return it into the same opening on the right side, but you pierce it in another place on the wrong side. Using this method, your seams will be invisible. Make several stitches. It doesn't matter actually how many stitches you make. It's really easy and quick, so sew it here on one side, then fix the thread and have a look. That's how it looks. And I don't make any knots, I just make several stitches back and forth and the thread will stay there, that's all. It's important to fix this upper part really well so that it will stay put. And now cut the thread. Here you do absolutely the same. Fix the thread first into the knitted base. Don't pierce the leather, be careful. fix the upper corner really well, yeah. Returning to the same place of puncture on the right side. You see, the stitches are invisible on the right side because I make an extra teeny tiny stitches. Yeah, careful with the flap. Now somehow I have inserted it too deep, can't pierce it through. Yeah, I would use some pliers to pull it. Yeah, sometimes it's difficult to pull it through. This I have pierced it through. It was very deep. Now I can cut it. I don't make the knots here. So actually that's it. You repeat all the same on the other side so that we can sew the lining all along the perimeter and here as well. So crochet it and sew it. Now I have already sewn the side stripes to both sides, and now we can start making the lining. For the lining, we will make a really simple piece. I will draw how this is going to look. So we will need to take a rectangular piece of fabric. This is going to be the width, which is circumference divided by 2. Now, what is the circumference? Let's measure it. I'll take measuring tape. Remember where you have started measuring it. I start here from the corner where the side is, yeah, from this stripe. You need to find the level at which you are going to sew the lining. For example, I have decided that I'm going to sew along this line. So here I will measure at this level, and by pressing it hard to the side, I measure the circumference of the bag. Then along the side, also measure it in the corners here, and along the other side, of course. All the way to the other side. And so 55 centimeters is the circumference of the bag. Now we need to divide it by 2 and we will get 27 and 5. Yeah, 27.5 centimeters will be one width of the lining. We also need to add seam allowance 1.5 centimeters on each side. That will be plus 3 centimeters. And it will be 30.5 centimeters. So 30.5 centimeters is the width of a piece of fabric that we are going to cut. Now let's measure the height of the bag. We take our measuring tape and go first all the way down, then along the bottom and all the way up. Write it down, 35 plus 3 centimeters for the seam allowance, that is 38 centimeters. So the height is 38. So we need a piece of fabric 30.5 by 38 centimeters. And after you have cut it, you can iron the fabric, and then I'll show you how to sew the lining and how to sew it into the bag. Now let's measure the piece which we can use for the pocket. We'll make it on one of the sides, so let's measure approximately what can be the width of a pocket here. So I think it will be 15 plus seam allowance, that is 18 centimeters. So the width of the pocket is 18 centimeters. Now the length of the pocket will be double height of the pocket. So if the height is 11, yeah, it is the length of the pocket. We multiply it by 2 because we are going to put the fabric double. So 11 multiplied by 2 plus 3, that will be 22 plus 3, and that will be 25 centimeters. So the length of the piece of fabric will be 25 centimeters. So cut those pieces. If you're going to make a pocket, also cut fabric for the pocket. After you have cut it, iron it, and then I'll show you how to sew it. So that you see which stages follow each other for any lining. So I have cut pieces of fabric that I need. I'm going to use linen plus viscose fabric. We will start with a pocket. So this is a piece of fabric for the pocket. And to make it, we need to fold it double. Make 2 seams here on the wrong side. and then we will turn it inside out. So to make the stitches, first we fix it with sewing pins. So I have folded it double. I will pin it along the side. So here we will make a seam on one side. I skip about 1 centimeter so that when I turn it I have some free space. Yeah, I have counted it for 1.5 centimeter. I'll sew 1 centimeter and then I'll have some free space to turn it inside out so that the pocket isn't too small. Likewise on this side. So we make the seams using sewing machine or by hand. Make these 2 seams, and now that we have made 2 seams, I'll turn it inside out. Turn the corners right so that they are nice. And then pocket has to be ironed. Then we leave it for the time being. Sewing of this part is going to be further when we will be sewing it to the base. Yeah, so now we just leave it like this. So make sure that you iron it and put it aside. Now I have ironed the pocket and I put it aside. I'll take my fabric for the lining. And so we put it with right side facing us. Then we need to make the seam on the upper edge of the lining. That will be the top of the bag as well. So I fold 1.5 centimeter and pin it in place. Here we're going to sew it into the bag. And so we do it on both sides. Here, pin, the more you pin, the easier it is for you to sew. Fold it on the other side. So the seams are ready. And now make them on the wrong side. Made 2 seams. If you are going to add some tag, then you can sew it together while sewing the top seam. Here, for example, make these 2 seams on top and sew the label. And after you have sewn the upper parts, I have sewn the tag, so now I can sew the pocket to the back. We have to place it in the center. If you have a tag, then you center it according to the tag as well. And slightly lower. Then you need to fix it in place with some sewing pins, of course, as well, so that the pocket will stay put in place where you want to sew it. So pin it like this on several sides. And here as well. Then we will turn the lower part, which is the most difficult part. Yeah, so here we have this open edge. We need to fold it inside so that we hide this raw edge, right? Like this, fold it inside. I was counting on 1.5 centimeters here, so hide all these strands, take them away carefully, yeah, like this. And now we pin it in place all together with this folded part. Or you can pin it first to the pocket and then pin it to the lining if it's difficult for you to pin it at once. This is up to you. So pin it as it is easier for you. The main thing is now to fix it in place. And so, like this. Now we need to make these seams here, on this side, and below. I usually make one seam, second, and then the lower one, the bottom. So when you have sewn the pocket, then you make two side seams on the sides of the lining and they make the bottom of the lining. And that will be it. So now make the seams, and after you have sewn the pocket to the lining, you fold it double like this and make the side seams and the bottom. So we fold it like this with the right side to the right side, wrong side facing us, and as always we pin it on the sides. I skip 1.5 centimeter on each side as planned for the seam allowance. All these seams we will make, and then we'll just make a shape that is the bottom. Here, on the other side as well. Several pins more. Now make two seams on the sides, and the last stage is to shape the bottom. So we already have the lining sewn. Now we put it on one side, put it on something flat, and we need to find the place where the bottom will be. So for this we need to measure the width of the bottom, and with a measuring tape you can measure it right here, the width of the canvas. So now I need to find on this fabric the line where 6.5 centimeters, which is the width of my plastic canvas, is. So I fold it like this, and I try to find this place where it will be 6.5 centimeters. Make an even-sided triangle so that right and left are the same, yeah, and this line is right into the middle. Here there is a seam, you can put the side seam right next to the, right, matching the bottom seam, right, parallel, I mean, parallel to the bottom seam. And so we measure and find this place where this distance will be 6.5 centimeters. 6.5 centimeters this way. And you need to make sure that on the right and on the left, these two distances are the same. Distance from the edge to the side seam, to the central seam of here. It will be 3.75. 3 centimeters and 3 millimeters, approximately. Fix it with a sewing pin on the other side, find it as well. So likewise, now you need to make these two seams and our lining is ready. So now we only have to sew it into the bag and our bag will be ready. So put it into the bag. Make sure that label is right in the center of this back side. Yeah. You center it and the sides are also matching the sides of the bag. Here you can first pin it in place to make sure that the lining won't be shifted. Pin it in place. When I sew such small bags, I do not do this. For bigger bags, I usually do this. I'll show you. Yeah. Now I'll show you how I do this. You put several pins to put it in place. So where you're going to sew it, find this level. And yeah, don't forget to center it again. Like, put the first pin into the center, then one more pin closer to the corner, and one more on the other side. One here. Don't forget about the corners, you'll have to sew them as well. And here. On the other side, likewise, spread it evenly. Here. And yeah, like this. Make sure you press it right so that you have no creases. And finally, the other side. Actually, here we just have to fix it because it already is in place. And here the lining is also sewn. So pocket is in the middle. Yeah. So check everything twice that everything is okay. Everything is nice, and then we can start sewing it into the back. I'll show you my method of seamless sewing lining into the back. I use it for all the linings, and I think that it is a super method to make a seamless sewing of the lining. It's absolutely invisible and looks really neat, as if it was glued to the back. So we need some thread in matching color. I'll show you a zoom in. So we need, as always, to fix the thread first into the knitted base, slightly lower than the lining here. Like this. Make a knot or make a loop, Then you need to pierce it into the lining. First go to the level of the lining, yeah, and then I pierce it through right into the top of the lining. Here, you see, I make a horizontal stitch and pierce it through horizontally right into the very top of this lining, about 5 millimeters. Then again, I make a little seam into the knitted base. Carefully don't pierce the flap, but pierce it through carefully. Then I return. Here likewise. As we were sewing these little stripes, yeah, we return it into the same place of puncture on the right side, but slightly further on this side, about 5 millimeters to the left. And yeah, and then again I pierce it right into the top of the lining, making a horizontal stitch. And so like this we go on sewing. You see, this seam is absolutely invisible, you can't see it at all. Just make sure you sew along a straight line and that you spread the thread and spread the lining evenly so that you neither tighten it. And so you go on sewing all along the perimeter. Here, likewise, you will sew it, you'll just have to pierce it into these small stripes. It will be slightly more difficult, but again, it is possible. That's it, like this, go on sewing till the end of the round. Take your time, don't hurry, just make teeny tiny stitches. Then at the end we will meet, I'll show you the finished look. Have a look how nice it looks. Absolutely neat and at the same time properly sewn. So go on working like this till the end of the round. And it's ready. Now, I finished the red bag and want to show you, because I have already sold the beige bag. I didn't have time to film it, so I'll show you on this one. And so when you have sewn the lining and you came to the place where you have started, I didn't cut the thread to show you. I just make several stitches again, as I always do, back and forth, so that I do not make a knot. Just make several stitches here, back and forth, and like this, and cut it. Your lining is ready. That's it. That's now finally the finished look. That's how it looks in a red bag. In a beige bag it was the same. You can see it on my Instagram account. And so this bag I decided to make with this chain. So now it is really the finished look. It is complete. I hope that you enjoyed this masterclass and it was helpful. Have a look at how trendy and classy this bag looks. I think it is very original due to the wooden parts and accessories. So thank you for watching this masterclass. I hope you enjoyed crocheting together with me, and now you have your beautiful Ukrainian bag. I'm very happy that I have created this original and at the same time Ukrainian pattern. And it has such a folk accent, which is really stylish, and at the same time it can be used as everyday bag and as well as for special occasions when you wear your Shvanka shirt and enjoy wearing it. Thank you for watching again. That was Oksana Rudko and my brand of knitted accessories, La Accessories. See you. Bye.